Good evening, everybody. I have a beautiful glass of Malibu and pineapple juice. I have your beautiful smiles, and welcome to day 45 of Sonja's Adventures. My name is Sonja. I'm a Larper from Munich in Germany. That is live action roleplay. I'm going to go through that later. And today I want to be talking about 3 tips for absolute Larp beginners. But before I do that, I would love to test if this is actually working, if you can hear and see me correctly, because I have a new camera and I want to check it out. So if you can hear me and you can see me, just press the heart emoji button down there so I can make sure that it's actually everything's working. I'm going to have a sip of my Malibu, and then we will be talking about 3 tips on how to start your first LARP when you're a complete LARP beginner. All right, I see a few people. Welcome, Gary. Nice to see you. Actually, I have a question today for all of you guys that you can answer. And that would be, what is your favorite LARP setting that you play in? Either, if you're a LARPer already, tell me what is your favorite LARP setting, or if you're a complete beginner and have never done a single LARP in your life, then tell me what you would be most interested in. I can maybe start with my own favorite LARP setting, and that is fantasy. I come from the LARP fantasy setting, and the reason why that is, even though I've already done post-apocalyptic and I've already looked into Western LARP, and there's also Star Wars LARP out there, and historical LARP and post-apocalyptic LARP, my personal favorite is still fantasy, because I think it's a bit more positive. It might be weird, but for me personally, I like to spend 3 or 4 days where I have the feeling like everything's going to be all right. This might be weird. I don't mind like 2 or 3 cons where there's a post-apocalyptic setting per year, but I don't want to spend every weekend in a setting where I'm like, I think the world is going to end a second time. I'm here in the bunker and there's aliens everywhere. I don't personally want to have that every weekend, but tell me, what is your favorite LARP setting? I would love to know and see where the crowd is from, kind of. Okay, so I see. Hey, Yazi and I are watching. Hey, Yazi. Caro, hi. Hi there. Nice to see you guys. Dave, hola. Hola back. I'm trying out this new camera, by the way. I hope it's working. I feel like there is a bit of still a technical problem, but okay, I have Alfredo. Alfredo agrees with me on the fantasy setting. Nice. And let's see. I'm just going to start now with the 3 tips that I personally have for absolute LARP beginners. And the tip number 1, and all you guys who do LARP, please help me and comment below on what your tips for LARP beginners are, because that way we can help more people. And also, if you have somebody that you think is going to start soon or who is interested, just tag them below so we can kind of help the community to grow and help each other with all the tips and the information. All right, my personal 3 tips for absolute LARP beginners. Tip number 1 is, I totally lost my thing here. My first tip would be ask yourself, what do you expect? Now, the reason I'm saying that is, I personally, if I would start LARP today, and I would see it in the media, and I would see pictures, and I would see videos and documentations, then I would probably personally get drawn most to the costumes, to the big costumes, to the big crowds of people, to the big props out there where like there's huge settings, where there's like huge castles, and it almost feels like you're in a Lord of the Rings movie. That's what I personally would get drawn to. That makes sense because I also like big LARP events between like 800 and 8,000 people. That's where I feel best. But there's a lot of people that might not feel that way. You might start LARP and be like, I don't like big settings. I don't like big crowds. I don't want to feel like there's a music festival going on. I want to actually be part of the plot, part of the story. So you might like settings where you feel like you're in a Dungeons and Dragons adventure group with only 20 people when you're alone out there in the middle of the woods. So think about that before you start your first LARP. Think about what you expect. Do you like big LARPs where you feel like where everything around you is like huge crowds and there's like huge battles and you mostly know nobody, but it's just fantastic to look at? Or would you like something more intimate, something smaller, where you feel like in an adventure group? That's what you should ask yourself. Also, what you expect kind of refers to the setting. Would you like to hunt down aliens and bunkers? Is that what you're looking for? Or would you like to have a sword and play with orcs and elves and in a fantasy setting? Or would you like to play a cowboy or somebody else in a Western setting? These are questions that you should ask yourself before kind of getting into the hobby. If you're consciously deciding, I'm going to start LARP now, that's what you can ask yourself. What do you expect? And according to that, you can choose your first LARP. So that would be my first tip. Ask yourself, what do you expect? Now, the second recommendation I have. There's a lot of people constantly asking me, and also on our page from the Baraka Keltor, asking us, how do I start? What do I need to bring? Which kind of blood do I need to use? All those kind of questions that you have in the beginning. And there's not one place in the internet where all of the LARPers can go and be like, that's where you get all the information. Sadly, because why? There is LARP in the US, there's LARP in the UK, there's LARP in Poland, in Switzerland, in Germany, in Italy, and everywhere it's different. So there's not one place where you can just go and be like, okay, all my questions are going to be answered. But there is help. There's two things that you can do. The first thing is use YouTube, use Google, and use Facebook, and type in LARP plus your town or your region or your country, and you will find Facebook groups, communities, YouTubers that tell you about the things that interest you in LARP. So that's where you can definitely get information, and depending on where you are from, might be different in Italy. Actually, if you guys are from a different country than Germany, I have a tip right now for German LARPers, but if you are from a different country, definitely comment below and tell me, where do I find all the information about LARP in Italy? Is there one place? Is there a group on Facebook? Or in Switzerland or wherever you're from? Just maybe comment below and help people that want to start with LARP. I'm going to start with Germany. There is a very cool page in Germany that I can definitely recommend to you guys, and that is LARPgate. It's actually spelled like Stargate, but only with LARP in front, so www.larpgate.com. They're planning a relaunch in the next few days, so maybe they're going to do some new languages as well. Let's hope, because what they do is super cool. It's basically a Facebook for LARPers. They only have LARPers there. At the moment, they have about 2,000 people in there, and it's growing and growing and growing. And what you can do there is you can get information about LARP in general, about our hobby. You can also connect with other people and ask them, or find a group in your city. And then you can find conventions, LARP events, according to settings, according to style, according to size in your region. So they have a LARP calendar, and they have more and more information, and they want to do something completely revolutionary. So it's definitely a page that you should check out and maybe keep in mind, because I think that will be a big thing in the future. I hope at least, because that might be a platform where we can all connect and kind of exchange information, and also new people can get new information. So maybe you want to check that out. I don't get any money from them. I literally just recommend them, and I've talked to the guys and they're really cool. So maybe if you guys have something like that in your country, just comment that below, because we can all help each other. So that would be my second tip. Get yourself informed on the internet by typing in LARP plus your city or your region or your country, or if you're German, then check out LARPgate. All right, my third tip is don't stress too much. If you're a LARP beginner Actually, our LARP group has about 40 people, and every year we have friends of friends that want to check out LARP and come with us to big events. So every year we have people that have never done LARP in their lives before, and they check it out through our group. And I have the same exact question every year, and that is, oh my God, I don't know if I can do role play. I really don't know if I can actually do that. Are they going to notice that I cannot act? Are they going to see that I talk the wrong way? Don't stress about that. Nobody is ever, at least in the 7 years I do LARP, I've never experienced one person ever saying, look at her, she's not doing role play the correct way. Nobody does that. Actually, they're all trying to help you. If you're shy and you're like, I don't know what to say or how to say it, there's so many people that are trying to push you. This is basically a game of play pretend, and that only works if everybody takes you seriously in your role. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So really try, do yourself the favor, and stop the thoughts in your head and just act. Because if you constantly think about, oh my God, what am I doing here? I have this weird costume. How do I have to behave now? What do I do now? Then you're taking yourself a lot of fun away that you could have if you just act, just play pretend and just go with the flow. Nobody's going to say anything. Actually, everybody is going to take you seriously. If I come with elven ears and say, hi, my name is Alpha, then everybody's going to say, hi, Alpha, and they're going to address me as Alpha from then on. Because everybody knows I'm not an elf in real life. Everybody knows my name is differently, but they take me seriously in that role, and so should you with other people. So don't stress. Everything's going to be all right. All the LARPers out there have started one way or another, and you should just enjoy it because it's a blast, and everybody likes to welcome you to the big LARP family. All right, so those would be my personal 3 tips for absolute LARP beginners. The first one is decide what you are looking for in LARP. What do you expect from LARP? Do you want big LARP events? Do you want small LARP events? Do you want a setting like in Lord of the Rings with orcs and elves? Or do you want to go with airsoft and fight off aliens in bunkers? Do you want to have a Mad Max style post-apocalyptic setting? That's what you should decide on. And then get yourself informed. Just type in LARP and your region or your city or your country, or check out the comments, because there's a lot of people who probably can help you with pages in your country. We are a big community, and if you're German, you can check out larpgate.com because they have a lot of information on their page. And tip number 3, don't stress yourself. We have all started somehow, and there's no wrong way to roleplay. You cannot do any mistakes. Just go and have fun out there. And if you're shy, you're shy. It's totally fine. Everybody will think it's your character. All right, those would be my personal 3 tips. I now still have a few minutes to answer your questions and talk with you about LARP. Totally interested to see what you think about that. Actually, it's going to be a bit empty today because all of my friends are already on a LARP. Not all of them, but a few of them are already on a LARP, and I will drive there tomorrow as well. So excited. All right, let me have a look at your comments. Oriana is like, boo. I love you too, honey bunny. Niels is asking, you're not an elf in real life? Actually, I am, but don't tell everybody. Alfredo says, I totally agree. Almost all of my actual players started with me. 2 hours later, they wasn't stressed anymore. Yep. If you have a group of people, that happens because you're just adapting to everybody else around you. If you're on your own, it's a bit harder, I think. So that's why I personally would recommend starting with a group, which you can find online or with your friends, or just start a new one. But that's just my personal tip. I like starting in groups because it makes it easier. Oh yeah, Gary says, keep it simple. Difficulties come automatically later. Definitely, I would actually even top that and say, don't worry about a background story. If it helps you to get into character, nice. But if you were not if you don't really know what to expect yet, fuck it. Just go there, have a costume, and kind of see what is going on, and then you'll get there. You'll eventually develop something that will help you. Stephanie is asking me which LARP I'm going to. You can, if you want to check it out, it's www.larporga.de, as in LARP organization, larporga.de. They have a beautiful LARP village. It's called Nordgard. So cool. I have made a video about it. It's basically like, I don't know if you guys know the HBO series Vikings. It's a huge village, just totally in LARP character. You think there's a Northman and Vikings coming out, and there's grass on the rooftops. It's beautiful, and there I'm going in the next few days. I'm so excited. It's a small LARP, by the way. All right, Alyssa, yeah, Ed's already on the side. Yeah, I know, I've seen pictures of Ed on the side. Yeah, and Alyssa is from America, and she has a friend here in Germany called Edward, or Ed, and he's going to the LARP that I'm going to. He's one of the few Americans here in Germany who play LARP, and she can't wait to come to Germany on Conquest of Mythodea to join us. I'm very excited for you, Alyssa. Niels, one tip a friend had to find out the hard way at the last Conquest: know your physical limits. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. If you have no condition to run around 5 days all day long, don't try. Yeah. I mean, you will probably find that out by yourself. I've done that myself. I totally got onto my limits. If you have a big LARP like Conquest, Conquest is the biggest LARP in the world with about 8,000 people. It's a huge area, and you can definitely all day run around from A to B, and you're just, imagine you don't have a car, basically, and you want to have a message, and you have no mobile phone. So get a message from A to B, you have to run. So that way you're constantly moving. And there's one thing that most LARPers probably know, is you forget to eat. You're so drawn into the story, mostly, that you forget to eat. And I'm very thankful for people that always come up to me and say, like, Scown, which is my character's name, Scown, you have to eat. Here, eat. So yeah, in the end, you always drink a lot of alcohol at night, at least I do, and then you're often very exhausted. After 3 or 4 days of LARP, you might need another vacation. All right, guys. Well, it's been 22 minutes, and as you guys might know, I want to take all these live streams very short because it's too, I don't like long videos. So I'm definitely going to take some time to answer to all of your comments. If you don't watch this live but watch it later on, there's still time to comment. I'm going to answer to all of your comments. And we cannot end this, wait, Malibu. We cannot end this video without the typical thing. So you ready? Whoa, and one last thing. How about that one time on my first LARP where I got captured and tortured by huge rats? Well, that's a story for a different day. See you guys.